Corla, first my congratulations to every deputy who's been elected to the House for the first time. I know this is a really special day for you and your families, and one that you'll never forget. In June 2007, I was one of 49 first-time TDs taking their seats. Actually, on that day, there were more first-time TDs than today. So change always happens in politics. That too was a change election. For the first time, the Greens entered government. Fianna Fáil entered government again, and there was a third party that no longer exists. I do remember, though, what an honour it was to be chosen to serve my constituents and my country. And as I enter my fourth term as a TD for Dublin West, it is still a great honour. My commiserations to everyone who lost their seats, and I can recall the words of Tony Gregory on my first day in this House, when he paid tribute to those who were not re-elected and gave his view that it would leave the Dáil a much duller place. I suspect that won't be the case on this occasion. The responsibility is now on all of us to ensure we provide good government, and indeed good opposition, because that's what the people have every right to expect. Today the Dáil has failed to agree on the nomination of a Taoiseach. Therefore, in accordance with the precedent set in 1989 and followed in 1992 and 2016, immediately after today's sitting is concluded, I will travel to Áras an Uachtaráin to inform the President of my resignation from this office and that of the Government. In accordance with Article 28(11) of the Constitution of Bunreacht na hÉireann, the Government will, and I quote, continue to carry out its duties until a new Government has been appointed. I will likewise continue as Taoiseach until the election of that new Government. We do so as a continuing Government with full executive authority. We've many precedents for what happens next, and I want to reassure the Irish people that we have a government and it will continue to work for you and your interests. Indeed, after my meeting with the President, I will fly straight to Brussels for a special European Council meeting. There we'll discuss the multi-annual financial framework, in other words, the EU budget for the next 7 years, and we're currently at a critical stage in these negotiations. A priority for us is to protect the CAP budget, and I believe it is possible to reach an agreement that ensures the best possible outcome for Irish farmers and our rural economy. If a new government is not elected on the 5th of March, we will undertake official events associated with St Patrick's Day, and I'll travel to the White House in Capitol Hill. It will be a shortened trip this year in any case, because if still in office, I'll need to return to the March meeting of the European Council, which will be one of the most important in recent memory. There we'll decide on the negotiating framework for the next phase of Brexit, and it's imperative that we get it right for our jobs, our incomes and our economy. We need to negotiate a free trade agreement between the EU and the United Kingdom, an agreement that protects our jobs, our business, our rural and coastal communities, our farms and our economy. Everything else we want to do in health, housing, childcare, climate action, tax reform hinges on achieving a good outcome, and it has to be done by the end of this year. Until a new government is elected, I want to reassure this House and the public that the team that has served us well until now, including the Taoiseach and Minister McEntee, will continue our work. Indeed, Minister McEntee will travel with me this evening. The Government will also continue its work in critical areas like health reform and housing. These are issues that cannot come to a halt until a new government is appointed, and I promise you that we will not halt our work. Progress is being made, and we are seeing some results, particularly in housing at long last, and we won't allow our country to go backwards during the interregnum. However, as is appropriate, no major new policy decisions, financial allocations or public appointments will be made unless absolutely necessary, and then only in consultation with the major opposition parties. I think this reinforces the challenge facing all of us elected to this 33rd Dáil, to find a lasting and durable government that will last for at least 4 to 5 years. The same is true for what needs to be done to implement the Climate Action Plan and to provide warmer homes and cleaner air and shorter commutes and a more sustainable economy for the future, while cutting our reliance on imported fossil fuels. And perhaps the new government may wish to implement a more ambitious climate action plan than the current one. We have also done much when it comes to gender equality in our country, but we need to do much more, and it has to start here. Only 36 women were elected on the 8th of February, an increase of only 1 on the 2016 election. We saw many talented women lose their seats, and that's something I deeply regret. The next government should build on the things we've done in office to improve better parental leave, maternity benefit and paternity benefit, and provide greater financial support for early childhood education and childcare. We need to do much more to empower women, remove structural boundaries, and create opportunities across all areas of life, in the workplace, in education, in the family, on public and corporate boards, on sport, in the arts and in politics. As you know, the outgoing government, and indeed the outgoing Oireachtas, established a Citizens' Assembly on gender equality. It met recently for the first time, and I'd encourage whatever new government is formed to drive forward with the recommendations they make. Ceann Comhairle, Fine Gael is the party that founded this state, its institutions, and the party that made Ireland a republic, the only one recognised internationally. And in the weeks and months ahead, we'll stand by the state and the republic. If we're needed to give the country political stability and good governance, then we're willing to talk to other parties about that. But I think it is, in the first instance, the onus is on those who have made enormous promises of change to the people during this election, who were entrusted with that mandate, to bring a programme for government to the Dáil for approval. If they cannot, they should say so and be upfront and honest about their failure and the empty promises they made. We are conscious that there are some people in this chamber, and indeed beyond this chamber, who demanded our exit from government for most of the past 9 years. And we know that there are some of them that are already exhorting us to go back in. The irony of that is not lost on us. There's been a lot of talk today about mandates, and I want to say that I respect everyone's mandate in this House, the individual mandates we all achieved as TDs in our constituencies, and also the mandates we sought as members of a party or part of a group. I ask that people respect our mandate too. We did not win this election. We lost votes and we lost seats. And many of those who voted for us in the past did not vote for us on this occasion because they were disappointed in the progress or lack of progress in so many other areas, and we understand that. But 450,000 people did vote for Fine Gael in this election just gone by. Not many fewer than Fianna Fáil, not all that many fewer than Sinn Féin, and much more than any other party or group of independents in this House. And those 450,000 people didn't vote against change. They voted to say that they were satisfied with some of the changes that had taken place in the past few years, but they wanted more change in other areas, not least in health and housing. Some of them thought that we did a good job in the round, and they're people who shared our vision and shared our values, and agreed with our policies and agreed with our ideas. And we will honour that mandate, and I hope that others will recognise that while we may be diminished, a mandate of 450,000 votes is not a small one. So suggesting, as some did today, that we step aside, that we lie down, that we abstain, that we somehow allow others to form a government, we will not do that, and nor did those who oppose us suggest that they would do the same when they were in smaller numbers. Finally, I want to thank my ministerial colleagues who are not here, who've lost their seats, but who will continue to lead their departments until successors are appointed. And I know they're going to perform their work with good grace and competence. As leader of Fine Gael, I deeply regret that we were not returned as the largest party on this occasion, albeit by a margin of 2 seats. But I respect the verdict of the people in the general election and that of the House today. And after tendering my resignation to the President, in accordance with the relevant article of the Constitution, I will ensure that the Government continues its work in the interest of the people and the country until we have a new government endorsed by this House. Thank you.